Okay, this is lesson 4. We're going to start working with resources. The objectives for this lesson are to make sure we can add resources to the project and make sure they get assigned to specific tasks. We're going to create a calendar that has our resources on it. We're going to start costing the resources, and we're going to resolve conflicts. We've all been there, but you have to be two places at once. Projects will take care of that for us. Well, so far we've just been talking about ideas, basically. That's what a project is, just an idea, until you add the resources needed to do that. Resources, everything else. You know, it's the people, the equipment, um, the materials that you need. And also if you have to have services, you know, consultants or something like that, these are all resources. They all have an expense with them. So we need to add these resources to a project. There are basically three types of resources. Work resources, these are the people, right? So you've got like full-time employees, those are easy. And you want to assign them to a task. It could be a specific person um, by name, or it could be somebody like, okay, we need the heat treater or something like that. You can specify by skill. And it could be full-time, could be part-time, could be on contract. These are just people. We're talking about the people now. Cost resources just basically you capture the expenses, what you're spending your money on, and usually you compare that to a budget. So cost resources, you just basically what are you spending your money on, and you probably want to compare that to a budget. And usually they prepare the budget in advance. That's how they estimate how much a project is going to cost. Basically, is by the budget. And if you overrun your budget, you're not going to make any money, right? So cost resources. So the last one is material resources, and projects will take this in a unit measurement. So for example, let's say we need a rolled steel. You have to enter not just how much a roll of steel costs. Well, it could, I guess, but generally it's by how much does that cost you per square foot, and that's why we enter it into a project. And project then will calculate the total cost. So that's material resources. Okay, this is the resource sheet, and it's found by you click on the View tab. You think you'd click on the resource, but no, it's found in the View, and there's a little icon that says Resource Sheet. Click on that, and you should be able to get this view. Okay, these are the first 7 columns in the resource sheet, and we'll get to the other columns later. But basically, just have a row number. Um, got that indicator. There's a little icon that shows what type of resource it is. Resource by name, right? But just a description or a person, whatever you want to put in there. Type, and you basically got 3 types: work, material, and cost. Label, and you can put in, you know, units of measures, pounds, gallons, feet, and whatever it needs to be. If you need an initial, you can put in the resource name. You know, in this case, our example is Gloria Rodriguez. You can put in GR. And if she's got a specific group that she works in, we can put that in there too. This will be under the group. But these are the first 7 columns of the resource sheet. Just like we did with the task, we're going to use dialog boxes to get resource information. So from this view here, we're just going to double click on a row. In this case, let's do row 1. We're just going to double click on a row. In this case, let's do row 1. And when we do that, this dialog box pops up. It's got information about the resource. In this case, it's the contractor. And we'll work with this later. Okay, go to the data files and open up the Woods 3-bedroom home project resources, MPP. It's in your data files. Wherever you put those, look for this file. And this project opens up. Now from the View tab, click on the resource sheet, and this will pop up. Scroll down to the first empty row, and in the resource name, type in Volunteer 1 and hit Enter, and the rest of the columns will self-populate. And then do the same thing for Volunteers 2, Volunteer 3, Volunteer 4. You should look like this. Okay, now I want to change the landscape contractor. I want to put a name on it. I want to put Gary Clark's name in there instead. And when the dialog box pops up, I go to the resource name, I type in Gary Clark and hit OK. And Gary Clark magically replaces landscape contractor on the resource view. Okay, I'm going to add a resource called container. And all I do is just simply go to the empty line, type in container, and hit enter, and this pops up. Now let's add a resource called waste dump fee. So it's just like before, I just go in and type in waste dump fee. And if you look at it, it self-populates by the default. So you got to work, it's calling it work, and it's got the initials. Those aren't right, so let's change those. So we go into the type and click on that down arrow, and you'll see material. Just click on material, go to the box next to it, and type in ton, and just hit enter. And this is what it should look like now. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add construction fixed cost, and again in the type, and this time it's a cost. It should look like this now. And I've just added another row called project budget. We want to add some information about this budget, so I'm going to double click the project budget box. Just double click that. The dialog box should pop up. So save your project as My Woods 3-Bedroom Home Project Resources.mpp. We're done with topic A.